On the mountainside, Jesus had begun his great sermon. He had pronounced blessings on the poor in spirit, the mourning, the meek. He had called his followers salt and light. He had revealed that true righteousness goes deeper than outward behavior, all the way to the heart. Now he would teach them how to live in that deeper righteousness. Jesus continued teaching. Be careful not to practice your righteousness in front of others to be seen by them. If you do, you will have no reward from your Father in heaven. The Pharisees made public displays of their piety. They gave alms with trumpets. They prayed on street corners. They fasted with visible suffering. Jesus warned against this. When you give to the needy, do not announce it with trumpets. Do not let your left hand know what your right hand is doing, so that your giving may be in secret. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Generosity was not a performance. It was a private act seen only by God. When you pray, do not be like the hypocrites. They love to pray standing in the synagogues and on the street corners to be seen by others. But when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Prayer was not theater. It was intimate conversation with a Father who already knew what you needed. And when you pray, do not keep on babbling like pagans. They think they will be heard because of their many words. Your Father knows what you need before you ask him. Then Jesus gave them a model. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we also have forgiven our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. Simple words, profound depths. A Father in heaven, a kingdom coming, daily provision, forgiveness given and received, protection from evil. This was how to pray. When you fast, do not look somber as the hypocrites do. They disfigure their faces to show others they are fasting. But when you fast, put oil on your head and wash your face, so that it will not be obvious to others they are fasting, but only to your Father who is unseen. Fasting, like giving and prayer, was between the soul and God, not a badge of spiritual achievement. Then Jesus turned to treasure. Do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. The heart followed the treasure. Invest in earthly things, and your heart would be earthbound. Invest in heavenly things, and your heart would rise. No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. A divided heart was no heart at all. Loyalty had to be singular. Then came the teaching on worry. Do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. They do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any one of you by worrying add a single hour to your life? And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? Worry was a failure of trust. The Father knew, the Father provided, the Father cared. Seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be given to you as well. Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Priority determined provision. Seek the kingdom first, everything else would follow. Jesus concluded with a warning. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. 2 paths, 2 outcomes. The easy way led to ruin, the difficult way led to life. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Words were not enough. Obedience mattered. Everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock.
But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash. 2 builders, 2 foundations, 1 sermon that demanded response. When Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching, because he taught as one who had authority and not as their teachers of the law. The Sermon on the Mount was complete. A new standard, a new way, a kingdom where the heart mattered more than the appearance, where trust replaced worry, where the narrow path led to life. The crowds descended the mountain, but the words remained. They echo still. Thank you for listening to this episode of Life of Jesus, Early Life and Galilean Ministry. If the Sermon on the Mount has challenged or comforted you, please subscribe, like, and share. In the next episode, Jesus will return to the villages of Galilee. His authority will be tested by storms and demons, and his compassion will reach those whom society has abandoned.